What is going on, everybody? On a late tip. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's see who's all in here. We got Craig the Tech Guy. Appreciate you. D Scott, what's up? All-Star G, what's going on? And Prince Zachariah. Hope everybody's doing good. Giogami, what's going on with you, man? You got a question? Or are you just wondering, you're like, why am I streaming on midday? Well, I'm off today, so I decided to do a stream. I did, like I said I was going to do, like a poll. And the topic of today's discussion not the intro. I usually do that intro on Saturday. I might do another intro just for these streams outside of Saturday. I might make another video so that way I can have another intro. Because that was my first attempt of doing an intro. So, say humor. So that I got an idea of how I want to do it, but I just have to get everything together. So like I said, I did a little vote yesterday, and basically you guys want to have a discussion about how has the red pill changed you. Now this is an open topic discussion that anybody can talk about. Still good to have you here. Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. But like I said, this is going to be an open topic for people to come on who are red pill or black pill, whichever one, and actually have a discussion on how has it changed you, your perspective on just your life, the way you move, some of the good things, some of the bad things. It's just about, wherever you feel inclined to talk about it. You can come up and talk about it at length as you want. Daniel Barry, what's up with you? So, as far as I am concerned, when it has come to me, hold on. Now, when it has come to me as far as the red pill, I didn't really find the red pill until red pill content about 2015. Around there, like 2014, 2015. That's when I got into this space. That is the manosphere space. But like most people, most of my interactions with people, and I just knew something was kind of off with black people, the society itself. I was always into politics, and I just started seeing the bullshit. Because one thing is that I've always am is I'm a people watcher. I watch people. I like listening to what they say and watch how they do, and I just started seeing a lot of bullshit that people will say one thing and do another, and that's one of the issues that I had. Um, like looking at all this stuff, and it wasn't really until I came into this space where I was able to piece all this stuff together, piece all the bullshit, especially with females, especially with the politics game, just in life in general. Like one of the things I could say that the red pill has done for me is allow me to dissect the truth about everything. And it's the cold hard truth. And it's not about how what you feel. It's about what it is and not what you want it to be. And a lot of people, when they talk and have discussions, they have discussions on what they want it to be. That's the issues that I have with people when I talk to them. They talk in these idealistic states, and that's not life at all. Yes, you may want things to go a certain way, but they're not going to go a certain way because of the simple fact that it's just not going to do it. Case in point, just like with the females, it's like, oh, what you'd always been told with getting them flowers on the first date and also the crap. None of that shit matters. That's one thing I realized. None of that shit fucking matters. It's a nice gesture, but it don't. If a chick does not look at you in a certain light and is willing to sleep with you on the first night, then she ain't fucking with you. For the most part, you have to you have to work your way into that if she somewhat likes you. But most of these chicks like to go on dinner dates. So that's why I always tell them, like, if she likes you like that, she'll go on a coffee date, cheap, because she wants to be around you. Is that's one of the things that I was like, nah, you gotta go take her out and do all this other stuff. Nah, you don't. That's a lie. If she likes you, she wants to be around you. That's it. That don't cost no money, nothing. You can go walk in the park. If your chick wants to be around you, she'll be around you. That's one of the things that I had to tell one of my friends just recently about a chick that he's trying to date or wanted to date. And I try to tell him, like, she's just using you for your attention. And just like what B just was saying, like if she wants your attention, guess what? She's gonna have to pay. She's got to come out of pocket. But he was the type of guy that wanted to cook girls dinner and breakfast in bed and want to do all this romantic bullshit. And I told him, you're just wasting your time, man. Every time he was wasting his fucking time. Until he finally did what I told him to do. Just fucking ask her. He was trying to do it in a roundabout way, but I just told him, just go fucking ask her. And then that way and then that way you can just do what you need to do and move on. And he did. And he got the answer that he did not expect. And he was like, and he's talking my head off, pissed off. He was like, yo, I wasted all this time. I was like, yeah, I know. None of that shit mattered to her. It was nice, but it didn't matter. But at least now you know. And so, like I said, what it has done for me is like it just opened up the truth about the bullshit in people, the the lies that you've been told and fed since you were young. If you really want to get anywhere in this fucking world, you got to be ruthless. You have to be. You cannot have an extremely good heart and expect to be super successful in this world. You have to step on some people. That's just the truth of it is. What's the old saying? You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. That is fucking true. And that is one of the most hardest things people want to, I guess, accept, is that there's sometimes where you have to be somewhat evil. Well, I won't say evil, but you just have to just don't give a fuck. And that is the ultimate truth. As much as people don't want to hear it, that is the truth. Just like with the black community. If it don't get its shit together, then it's gonna fall. Is what it is. I have no dog in that fight anymore. None. If it burns, it burns. I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because the black community doesn't care. You can see all the destructive shit that they say and say, well, we need to come together. How can we come together when we're destroying ourselves? So until it cares, I'll care. But until you don't, I got good whiskey over here. That's what I care about, good whiskey. And I treat everybody with this newfound ability. Now, you can't talk about it to a lot of people or else they're going to get upset. But I've got to the point where I just don't care. I still have family members who I said some of this stuff to, and they don't talk to me anymore. And I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. They think I'm crazy. But this is the other bullshit that I see in people too, especially when it comes to black men. They'll say you're crazy and you're wrong in front of the females, but when you get in with the guys and the females are not around, they'll be like, man, I just didn't want to say nothing, but yeah, you're right. And I just look at them like, I just shake my head. It's like, you know the truth, but you're too afraid of your own damn women. That's what I say. There's some black men that are afraid of their women to tell them the truth. You need to stop it. That's why I always tell guys, do not put yourself in a situation that you can be hurt. Always be willing to walk out. Always have something off to the side. And one guy did exactly what I said him to do, and then once his girl tripped, he left, and he was in a better spot than some guys that I do know, because I told him the truth. I'm not gonna sit there telling him to go work it out with a woman that's driving you fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie to him. Why? That's not the truth. That is not the truth. And Red Pill is about the fucking truth. And that's all it really is. It's the truth for the world as you see it, not for what you want it to be. And don't get me started on Black Pill. The Black Pill is another monster in itself. There's this whole mysticism about Black Pill that people misconstrue. That everybody wants to be Black Pill and you don't. you really become not a narcissist, but what's the word I'm looking for? And there, you really become indifferent about everything. You really become like pretty much like your oligarchs in this country. They will send you off to die just so that you can complete a a task. You don't care if they live or die. Just matters they complete the mission. You really treat people like pawns. Yeah, Giacomo Machiavellian. Yeah, nihilist. Thank you. You really become a nihilist. Machiavellian like. And a lot of people can't handle that. That's why you see a lot of this space used to have a lot of people that were black pill who became black pill, but they left this space because of the simple fact that they see no effort in doing this type of content to the point where they just didn't care anymore. It's not going to change. Either people are going to change or they're not, and they just didn't care anymore because it didn't benefit them. There's like only a few black. I got some black people, like I think Stardust still does videos. I know BGS does videos, and I wouldn't consider Sandman red pill. I mean, black pill. But there's a few, but they quit. And so, and that's the one thing I don't understand. It's like, why is the people so entrenched with black? Because it's a romantic gesture. It's romanticism, and that's basically what it is. It's like, oh, that's so exact. Nah, black pill will make you sometimes will make you drink and make you alcoholic because it's like, damn. What's going on, Nameless? Yeah, the progression of Stardust has been interesting. Yeah, I listened to his videos. I think he had the video. I think it came out either today or the other day. Giogami that's talking about Passport Bros and how they still have to deal with women, even over there. And he's right. You still gonna have to deal with women. It's just that you can't be awkward still. You still gotta be fun. You still gotta be interesting to talk to. And that's something a lot of guys, hell, even in this space, don't understand. You gotta be a sociable if you want to talk to people and have interesting conversations. You have to be multifaceted when you have these conversations. That's why I don't get bored or feel awkward in different scenarios. I could talk street and I could talk in ballroom dance. I could talk to people with different variations. Why? Because I can talk about pretty much anything. I try to make myself multifaceted in all aspects of my life. And that's why I always tell guys, if you want to be sociable and talk about everything else besides video games and stuff like that, you have to be multifaceted. And some guys can't handle that. Well, guess what? That's the truth. Same thing with the females. You want a husband, you want a man that's not going to cheat on you, there's certain things you got to do. Facts say fuck your feelings. If they're not willing to do the things they need to do to get a man, then guess what? You're just going to be alone. As Kevin would say, buy a doll, get you a fur baby, and hope it don't eat your ass. True Blocker says the red pill stopped me from suicidal ideation. Giogami says romanticizing and reaching a higher, deeper level of understanding and consciousness, but how many will accept to drink the cup like Socrates, we're facing the abyss? Not a lot of people. It takes courage to do that. What was that? Batman and Owlman. It takes courage not to blink, to see it through. See, when Batman made that statement, Owlman couldn't handle the reality that was in front of him. That's why he blinked. Batman saw what was in front of him, and he wanted to see what it truly was. He saw it for what it truly was, not for what he wanted to be. Owlman couldn't take the black pill, and it made him want to destroy everything, so that way he could have a purpose. Batman made his own purpose from the reality that he saw. And that's what you have to do. And that's what I've done. I made my purpose with the reality that I see in front of me. So I've made certain choices and decisions in my life that's going to benefit me. And that's it. Some people may say that's being selfish. But my response to that is all humans are selfish. There's not one human on this planet that is not selfish in some type of way. Every person has an ego. Some more than others, but that's it. And the red pill has shown me that. Being part of this community, listening to these guys, because another thing about the red pill, it's not just about women, it's about the world around you. You have to meditate on this stuff. Red pill is not just about women. It starts with that, with some guys, but then you start seeing the entire society as a whole and how it's structured. Then you start to see, okay, this is what they wanted, or they didn't think it was going to get this bad. And you just start seeing the pieces fall into play. Because at the very best, this is a game to them. They're playing with people's lives and try to get people to do what they want them to do. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But at least you know that you're a piece on this board and just not in a war. That's the awakening that you have. True Blocker says, I think before I discovered the space, I believe I was in the alternate universe. I was deep in the rabbit hole. Most guys do. Because, like I said, you were lied to at a young age, and then you just start looking around. It's like, wait a minute, this shit, it's not working out like it's supposed to, or this isn't what I've been told. Why is it like this? Well, and it's the romanticization of the ideal. Back when I was in church, women used to always say, like, oh, women like guys that are virgins. Really now? They're like a man that don't know how to please them. Okay. Why would I believe that? When most of the men that these chicks are fucking, they know that these guys are fucking someone else. And they could be exposed to any type of diseases whatsoever. But yet they still fucking them. Why don't they get the guy that's a virgin? You know why? Because they don't like that guy. Some of them want to get their back blown out by the stallion of the community. who's just running around here fucking anything. You know why? Because the one thing that I've learned is that if you can get that one chick at your job, and if you are good at what you do, she will start talking to everybody in there, and the other people gonna pick up on it. Maybe she won't talk, but if you are working with her, they're gonna see her with you and how giddy she is. Other females are gonna pick up on that, and they're gonna say like, what he doing to her? I might want a piece of that. It happens every time when I'm at a job when it's got a bunch of males and females around. Everybody fucking everybody. Everybody got a piece of everybody. Or that the stallion at the job. There was one job where they had one guy there. He fucked like damn 15 girls. 3 of them were managers. Within a fucking 6 months, they all knew he was fucking around. They didn't care. But yet they want to still tell you that, oh, we like virgins, we like flowers. This guy did not pay for not one meal. He did not pay for one eyelash or nothing. All they said was, you can come over and do what you do. And that's exactly what he did. And before I was R.P.L and that, I was like, why are you guys acting like this? And it's just simple. They just want to get the back blown out. That's it. The same thing, you can talk about anything else in this damn world. It is the fucking truth. So I'm gonna stop. Well, I ain't gonna stop talking, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link just in case anybody wants to come up and tell their story about R.P.L and how it's changed them. Like I said, it just showed me more of the truth of the world. I honestly say it has saved me from acting on a lie and still believing in a lie. And so that way I can navigate my life better and more in tune to who I am at this point. So there goes the links. If anybody wants to come up, hold on for a second. All right. Thought that was something else. True Blocker says, constantly navigating the society as a black man, I'm aware of himself. Situations like being in a maze. Yeah, it's almost like being in a maze. But once you figure that maze out, then it becomes easier. You understand where you have failed at in your life. That's exactly what I've learned. I've learned where I have failed at, my shortcomings, and I have to learn to accept that. The truth about my own self. Because I have my own faults. I have my own shortcomings. And I have to be aware of that. Because it's the truth about me too. And that's the one thing that people have a hard time accepting is the truth about themselves. Especially if it's in a negative light. But I have to. Because I'm bound by being told not what I want to hear, but what is the absolute ultimate truth about me, about this world. Because only then, if I get that information, can I fully understand who I am. This is one of the reasons why I meditate on certain subjects that I talk about so much, or ideas that I have to try to find better understanding of why am I thinking this way. I always ask the question, why? Why this? Why that? Why do people do this? Why do people do that? And I sit there and just, meditate on it and just try to figure out the answer to the question. And there's an answer. It may not be the answer that you want, but there's an answer. I mean, 1 plus 1 is 2. Boondocks, what's up?
Art, man, I appreciate you and everything you've done. I just came up because this is a topic that I'm very interested in because I'm in my late 20s and I feel like I have embraced kind of like the black pill, BGS, amoral pragmatist mindset. But I'm kind of confused because, like, the state of where we're at right now, I'm kind of at a mindset that it's funny, but at the same time, it's like, am I a bad person by thinking all this is funny? I don't know. There's just a little bit of me that thinks like I might be fucked up for thinking that this is funny because I've researched, I've done a lot of reading, and I found out about all this red pill stuff in college probably like 5 years ago, and now
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the point that I have gotten very grossed into this culture, and I'm an engineer, STEM guy, and I work in corporate in a big firm, and honestly it's like a game. It's funny to me, so I don't know. I still feel like I have a little bit of guilt because I kind of know the game. I know what I need to do. I'm financially stable. I don't want to say I'm a straight like super nihilist, but I do what I need to do. When I need to have women company, I can do it. But other than that, I'm kind of just monk. But when people have conversations with me, I have to really put on the front because I might just start laughing because I'm just like, you don't know anything. You're just blue pill. You're stupid. But it's like I don't know. There's some small modicum of guilt. Maybe that's because of the religious background, but I just wanted to pick your brain and kind of get some advice on how can you balance that without feeling guilty? Because maybe it's the simp chip. I don't know.
I see, because I don't feel guilty about the red pill because, like I say, it's just the truth. That's all it is. It's basically how I look at it is like you got people that have their certain worldviews, and it's hard for them to change it. And what made it, and what I guess what kind of made it easy for me is because I've always felt like I don't like being lied to. That's one of my pet peeves. I don't like people lying to me or telling me shit that they know themselves is false. That's not going to work, or is just because it's idealistic. Like, nah, I don't care about that. Just tell me the fucking truth. I don't care if it hurts me. I don't care if it's a fucked up thing. Just tell me the fucking truth. And so when it comes to me and how I react to people, it's just like I would guess it would be more so I don't feel guilty because once you realize the truth about who people are, I mean, it's not guilt. You just to me it's just like you guys are sad that y'all want to believe in this shit and you know it's not going to work. But hey, do you? But then again, I've been called an asshole myself, so there's that.
I've definitely been the person that was deemed the guy that says what everybody is thinking. And a lot of people come and ask me for advice, and I always have to preface like, what level of advice do you want from me? Because I can be real, but I don't really know if you can handle it. Because honestly, right now, I feel like I'm Heath Ledger Joker because so much stuff is coming to fruition, and I'm just laughing because it's like I'm set up. I got my stuff. I got my day job. I got my side stream of income. I'm like financially stable and I'm a productive man. But like all of the things that are happening and all of the premonitions and all of the stuff that I like heard about like 3 years ago and everything. Like it's coming to fruition, and people are just confused. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, y'all really think that this shit is sweet, but it's gonna get really bad for a lot of people. And I don't know. It's just part of me. I feel like I'm the reason why I'm guilty is because like I take a little bit of pleasure in just people um, talking about this shit. Like it's no big deal. It's fine. It's like I don't know. It's just like I feel like I'm laughing behind the blue pill guy's back, especially when I have friends and family. Because like I'm not gonna lie, like I the I had to really isolate myself around family members, and I've kind of reintroduced myself, and I'm around certain people in my family, but others really I don't even interact with because I don't even have anything to talk to you about. But like I realize my friends and even coworkers, a lot of the shit they talk about, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about at all. You're just fucked up, and like a lot of people that are in my life, they definitely have the simp shit. And I don't know. It's like it's a lost cause. I'm not trying to waste my energy on it, but it's just like I kind of just think it's funny because they're just down bad, and I don't want to say they're down bad in the sense that like they're doing bad things to cause themselves. It's just like you are set in a system that is not benefiting you, and you're complaining about it, but you're still like buying into it because you feel like you're going to get something out of it. And I think more so the reason why I feel bad is because a lot of my friends that are in my same age range, black and white, they're really trying to get this stupid fantasy, and they're like super depressed about it. And I think it's just funny because I'm like, you're
Well,
getting, yeah,
well,
yeah,
that's because you've been unplugged. Like in the Matrix, you just some people are not ready to be unplugged. Those people are just not ready to be unplugged, and so they because they still want the fantasy. And some people can't handle the red pill. Some people want to go back being blue pill. It has happened. There's an old saying in the red pill master community. You're just one blow job away from going back to blue pill because a lot of these guys hate to say it, they're just red pill raging. And a lot of these guys that are red pill raging, as soon as they get a girl and a girlfriend, they stop making content. They like, oh, I got a girlfriend now, da, da, da. And it's like you didn't learn anything. You were just mad. You didn't try to understand women at its totality, her psyche, who she is, how she acts, um, everything. Like who are these creatures? How that is what red pill is. It when you get fully invested, because there are guys that are red pill raging, and the reason why they're red pill raging is because they haven't fully accepted the truth. They only got part of it, or they're frustrated. But everybody's going to have to go through red pill rage. If they go and get to this progress, everybody's going to get to that red pill rage point. The point is that don't get stuck there. Evolve yourself to get to be a fully red pill man. That's what we call like purple pill. These guys are sitting on that fence. So a lot of these guys needs to go ahead. Either you're gonna be on this side of the fence or that side. We don't fence ride. If you're fence riding, you're gonna sway either or. But they're just staying there and they're not making a move. That's why when I put up my content, it's just about explaining how these things, what's going on, and tell people the exact fucking truth. Like I said, I just don't like being lied to. People who have lied to me, I tell them straight in their face, it's like, yo, you lied to me, right? I'm like, well, what are you talking about? It's like that shit don't work. But as far as like as co-workers and stuff like that, they just have to believe if they don't want to come out the fantasy, let them come out the fantasy. They have to do it themselves. What's the old saying? You could take a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. I could show people all this information I have, and they don't have to show nothing. And they be like, "Well, I just don't believe it." You got all this information in front of you, and you sitting there want to believe in a lie. Okay, have at it, Hoss. That's what I would say. What's up, G?
Hey, how you feeling? All right, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? Ain't seen you in a minute. How you doing? All right?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Feeling okay tonight.
What's up? We were just talking about how has the red or slash black pill changed you? That's the conversation for tonight.
You know what it changed me in a way that like it convinced me that I wasn't like I wasn't crazy. It wasn't even it was about just learning about how society is structured, why things are done, what the social contract is, who
Mm-hmm.
invented this shit, where did it come from, why does it see, because it was like I was at a point in my life where I had basically conquered poverty, mindset. I got a trade, I'm doing good, but it seemed like the better I did professionally and the more intelligent I got, the worse my social situation got as far as dealing with my family, women, all like that shit started to deconstruct. You know what I'm saying? Like when I didn't have shit and when I wasn't on nothing, I was fitting in with the crowd. Soon as I
Right.
started trying to change my position, it was like every situation started to fall out. I had never had anything to have, and it seems like soon as I became like materially more wealthy, I turned into a resource to everybody around me. And I wasn't mad about that. It was just in the way it was done because I really didn't have nothing. And when I started going like, okay, I think I can escape to the suburbs, you hit there, then it becomes a different type of extraction that happens to you from that culture. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I thought I was gonna save myself leaving the ghetto, went to the suburbs. They trying to terraform me in a different way. You know what I mean? They're trying to marginalize me in a different way where I'm out there trying to stay invisible. Like I don't want to cause no noise. I don't want to be the loud big black dude. I don't want to make like when the wrong is done to me. Hey, just smile. It's okay. Even if you know it's a blatant racist thing, because
Mm-hmm.
you outnumbered when you in the suburbs. You might be the only black dude within 10 miles. You know what I mean? And you in the store, you just want to go in here and get something to come out real quick, and something happens to you, and it's like it's a shock. But it's not a shock that they racist. It's just a shock that damn, I can't escape this shit nowhere. You know what I mean? If I'm in the ghetto, I gotta worry about niggas. And when I'm not in the ghetto, I gotta worry about everybody else. Everywhere I go in a society, I'm hitting walls that's invisible. I'm hitting obstacles that it's only me and people that look like me. Like, is we crazy or is this shit real? You know what I'm saying? It is not. We know it's racist, but it's the way that they structure the society where it's not like you can't blame it on racism because everybody's doing it to you. So it's like them, I can say the system racist, but they giving bitches apartments. You know what I'm saying? Like I can say the system fucked up, but the Mexicans get to come over here and just get citizenship and jobs and all type of rights. Like, so why the hell does it seem like my rights are always impeded with my agency? Why everything is so difficult? Why when I apply to the passport, I gotta tell them who my fifth grade teacher was and shit. Like, why is this happening to me? You feel me?
And now you always have to ask the question why. You have to look for those answers. I know what they see, and this is the bullshit. I will say, even with the vegans, right? How they talking about like, oh, we need to stop killing animals, this, that, and the third. Like you know how much fucking food, how much fucking animals you destroy just by making vegetables with all the toxins that you place everywhere for your vegetables. They don't look at that, or the people that's talking about immigrations. They don't want to keep out illegals because these illegals work the farms. Nobody in the United States wants to be on a farm and work, but the illegals that come over here, that's the jobs that they get. So all that food that you come into your grocery stores and stuff like that, guess what? There's some illegals in there working them on fields. That's why they have illegals come over. They're working the jobs that you don't want.
No, no, it's not. I don't. And then I don't want to say it like I even mind them helping. It's a shock. It just seems like everybody is helped on to success with their endeavors except us. But we know it's like that. But when you actually like you ignore it when you're not trying because you ain't trying to do shit. Like I'm not trying to get land. I'm not trying to buy a house. I'm not trying to start a business. So I don't give a fuck that they discriminate against you in bank loans and shit. Till you trying to go get a bank loan and start a business. And you like, bro, I've been working for 6 years. I've made X amount of money. I'm not even asking you for 25% of the money that I have deposited into your bank, and you won't give me a loan into this. It's like when you deal with a bank, it's like going to deal with a bank and I've been getting my direct deposit with y'all for 5 years, and I'll put, we'll say 50,000 a year for five. You've seen me put $250,000 in 5 years through your bank account, just with my wages. But if I come to you and say, hey, I need $60,000 to start a business, and then you start asking me weird questions about my third grade teacher, or where did I grow up at? It's like what? Like what? Like I thought we were transacting business. This dude came in, he was delivering pizzas, and he just got a loan to buy a hotel.
Well, that then you have to ask yourself, okay, that's the question you need to ask. Did you want to say something, Boondocks?
I was gonna say that it's really funny that G said that because I don't know. I feel like I'm having imposter syndrome because if I'm just a worker, if I'm just doing certain things, I got small side hustles. But if I try to really elevate myself and level up, there is a glass ceiling. So it's like as a black man, you can be upperly mobile, but you have to be a worker. You can't have your own like business and have your own stuff because that's impeding with the other infrastructure. And it's weird for me to say, it's like I'm in a sweet spot. I can continue being a white collar engineer and I can do what I need to do. But if I'm trying to really get a business set forward and be on the entrepreneur, there's going to be a lot of roadblocks because I have a lot of friends that are a little bit older than me that they have tried to branch out and pivot. And it's been very difficult for them. And they've kind of like fell back on what they went to school for. And they're doing pretty well for themselves, but they're not 100% actualized. So it's interesting. I will say, G, from my perspective, I prefer having, white people and other people be prejudiced towards me because at least they understand that I have certain type of agency. Now, the black people I'm around, don't, they can't really fathom the level of potential in like it's like I'm speaking a different language with a lot of my friends. They don't really
Well, you an
understand.
alien now, Boondocks. You
Well,
an alien to
well,
the, like you become an alien to your own people.
well,
Like you understand what I'm saying when it's like we trying to be competitive, right? So we're trying to be competitive in a highly technical field. So you have to structure yourself a certain way, and they not used to structure. They not used to a person that's on time. They not used to a person that's like I can't do that because I got to do this. You know, so it's you're trying to interact with something that's chaotic. You an engineer, you can't be chaotic. Your livelihood ain't being organized. You
Organized and
know, so
having
you can't
logic.
even hang out with most black people because they're chaotic.
Uh,
exactly. Like I've been mentored by white people and Asians, and that is the mannerisms, and that is the conditioning. And even though, I had a lower middle class background, but I was smart, so a lot of doors were opened, and a lot of people helped me. My family really helped me to get to a level. But the weird thing about it is, once I graduated and once I did all this type of stuff, when I'm around them talking about all the stuff I'm doing, it's like I get slighted. But I'm like, hold on, mom, you paid for my tutoring. Pops, you paid for me to get these classes. Like, how the fuck are you looking at me different and saying I switched up after I went to college and I'm doing all this stuff when you helped me get here?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very it's I'm at a good place with my mom and dad, but extended family and siblings is a little different. And a lot of my friends, like you said, G, I'm literally an alien, and the way I kind of feel okay about it is I got certain friends that understand where I'm going. I got a couple Africans, got a couple a few black people that are engineers and understand my things, but like it's interesting not being a suburban black kid, and I just was an intellectual, so I was able to fit in because of the topic matter, not maybe the lived experience. But I'm realizing that I feel more comfortable being the one or two black than being around my own people, and that's kind of weird
Nah,
because it's like
you
it's weird.
you have to find your own tribe. Sometimes there's gonna be a lot of black people that's not your tribe. I don't hang around with a lot of black people. You know why? Because they also sometimes they can be on some fuck shit, and they also, and I just have to be honest. So I can't sacrifice my well being and my way of life because you want to do something stupid. That's just not just black people. That's just anybody. Only that there's a reason why I don't have that many friends anyway. I don't hang around people that's on some fuck shit. That's especially gonna put me in this situation. And two, a lot of black people told me I work too much. And I'm like looking at them like, no, I'm out here trying to get this money. I had one of my friends tell me, it's like, man, you work too much. You always working. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to work. I'm sorry that you only want to do part time and you want to fuck off your money every fucking week. But I like to save my money. I like to buy my nice shit. And because the discipline that I have, I got two cars paid off. I could buy whatever I want. I can build computers and model kits and stuff like that. I got so many fucking hobbies because I'm so interested in so many things, but yet I can't talk about this stuff with black people. They be like, "Oh, you weird. Oh, why you in the comic book? That's kid shit." Like, no, I like comic books. I like building computers. I like doing model kits. I like painting. I like drawing, stuff like that. There's so much stuff that I like to do, but I know I can't hang around certain group people like that because they're gonna look at you like, like that's not the black thing to do. That's like one of the things that I've always heard in my life. You're not black. You're not black enough. And I was like, that's a weird thing to say to a black man who's been harassed by the police before. But okay.
Well, yeah, it's more so like just the whole, no matter how we present, there's not, it doesn't matter how we present amongst everybody else. Amongst each other, amongst black men, we know that we're multifaceted. What I'm saying? All black men understand that it doesn't matter what he look like. You got to talk to that nigga. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
he might have on. You remember back in the day, niggas used to be wearing jean jacket outfits and shit.
Yep.
And then you go talk to this nigga. He a professor. Like, man, what do you do? Oh, I'm a professor, man, in Georgia. Like, damn, you ain't even know. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, that's how it is too. You might, you don't know. It's like there's no look to us. You feel me? There's no look to us. We're multifaceted. So, but I'm just saying when we're dealing with other people, like this is just how I feel, man. I kind of feel like it's always a veneer up, like it's always like a glass between me and them. Like I never really show them who I am all the way. The only people that really know who I am is black males. Like I done learned in my life just to put a mirror up between everybody else and just kind of be this bland, you know, just bland, cool dude. To them, I'm just a cool dude they work with. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know nothing outside of that. I don't talk to nobody about, the comic books I like or the type of philosophy that I'm into or that I even know about philosophy or that I'm interested in anything in that nature. I don't have political talks with people. None of that shit. I learned my lesson with that shit. As soon as I talked about it, it was like, don't do it.
Like what? They be asking questions like, why you into that shit? Like, yo, whoa.
They be like, nigga, you know what that mean, nigga? Like, yeah, nigga,
Yeah.
I know you calling me dumb, nigga. I ain't no dummy. What the fuck? Like, why is this surprising to you that I know I know the environment around me? Why is that surprising to you? Because I can just tell they used to just talking about dumb. They always asking me about some dumb shit that I don't even know about.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It's like it's
no, go
I
ahead.
assumed that you should be this way, but like that's not even the important, part of how Red Pill changed me. It just made it like you remember. Y'all ever seen Maze Runner or read the books when y'all was young?
Made sure it didn't come out when I was young. At least.
Oh yeah, I was young. Hey, when like Harry Potter and shit, that was my I
Yeah.
was reading it as it came out.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
was
I'm saying?
shipping those. I was shipping those books.
Yeah, I was reading those. Like, how old are you, Boondocks?
If he's still there.
Oh man, I'm 27, man. I'm a
Okay,
youngin.
yeah, I'm
I'm a
five
youngin.
years older than you. So
Yeah, you gotta know I'm an old nigga.
we kind of like the same generation, you know what I mean? But like I remember just, you know what I'm saying? Like I just remember that stuff. And it's just like when you talk like I know when I was a little black dude, I was the only nigga reading Harry Potter.
No, that shit. The one thing I will say, and what honestly projected me to a new height is I had a mom that loved my father and never bad talked my father and knew that she was a woman, so she could never really make me masculine. So she always sent me to my uncles and sent me and do a whole bunch of man shit. And so like she really did validate my uh masculinity. I know that's weird to say, but like she was like, nah, I can't teach you shit about being a man. You take your ass to your uncle. And like she did read Harry Potter, but like she always was like, you need to be smart, but also your ass need to be a man. And it's funny because like the older I get, the more I think about my friends, and I'm like, uh, they're so cuddled. Like they are literally like boys. And me, I'm just so meticulous about how I live my life. And it's just interesting how just like a few things when you grew up changes your whole perspective. Cause like my mom's like, yeah, you the only I'm the only woman you're ever going to live with. If you live with a woman, she's going to live with you. And it's weird how just small things in your life just make the whole perspective for life differently. Because I didn't realize how many simps I was friends with until I graduated college and started making adult decisions. And I'm looking at some of my friends and being like, bro, like you're making life decisions because you want to have sex with a woman. I've always been baffled because I'm like, that's
Yeah,
weird. That's
because
weird to me.
because they have no discipline in their life. See, when you're around guys that the only thing they think, because I got a guy at my job that's the same way, and I keep telling him, it's like, you need to be careful because if you say the wrong thing, that could cost you your job. And he's like, it ain't gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen. And I'm just looking at him, I was like, okay, you talk very loud in the store about all this shit. Yes, they do look nice, but bruh, you about to have a corporate call, and I'm gonna have to get rid of you. But those are the people I can't be around because they can be reckless. And you can't. Nah, I can't be around those guys. They'll be reckless. They'll get you in trouble, and they look at you like, "Why are you mad that we're in trouble? This is like normal shit." I'm like, "Nah, can't do it."
That boys, huh?
Mm-hmm. What's that, AB?
What's up,
Hey,
AB?
hey, what's going on? To answer the title question, well, how can I say this? I had hope for the black community beforehand. Then the red pill and the black pill hit me. I had some hope for the black community, but man, after the red pill opened my eyes, see what it really is.
Well, you know what it was with me, AB? I had hope. It's not that I had hope for the black community, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had this weird concept. Like, I started coming into the Black Manosphere in like 2016, maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had this weird concept of like, maybe, it's just like you think it can't be this real. Because when you understand the scale, right, you understand the scale of stuff, right? So when you start to understand, like, this is what like multinational corporation means, what international conglomerate, like we start understanding what this shit means, you be thinking in your head, okay, I just gotta get exceptional and find my group of motherfucking multinational niggas to fuck with, you feel me? And then when you be
Right.
in America, it'd be like, hey, bro, welcome to reality, nigga. They the only ones with that shit.
Yeah, pretty
So if
much.
you are engineer, a scientist, a biochemist, a talented, like you have to go work for them. And that shit just be like, damn, this shit is like when
You're
everybody
preaching.
realized that nigga Palpatine was the Sith.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm a programmer. I've been to the Microsoft conferences and been the only black dude in the room.
Hey, AB, no, no, listen, AB, you remember when that nigga Mace realized this nigga Palpatine being a Sith Lord, everything clicked. Like, this nigga the Sith. It's
Hey,
like, man, it's like your whole life you think like, nigga, we dealing with the Sith lords in this motherfucker.
hey, now that you know, what you gonna do now?
Yeah, and for all, even after I found a red pill, I had hope for black women. Then that situation with the hair salon happened. That dude got arrested, and them heifers was in there the next. What was it like the next week? They were back in there like nothing had happened.
Yeah,
That's when it finally clicked. I was like, "What the?" I'm like, "Hold on, wait a minute, what the fuck?"
that's what say. Hey, if they don't want to listen, then leave them to their own devices, man. You cannot
Yeah, that's where
protect
I'm at
you.
now.
The truth is, you cannot protect anything that does not want to listen to you. Not even a dog. If a dog wants to go out to the train and play, you tell that motherfucker no, sit. He don't want to listen. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
His ass gonna get hit.
Now, Art, don't talk about Priscilla like that.
Oh man, fuck that hoe.
Yeah,
Oh,
she is old, but yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like I said, the Red Pill is just pretty much just the truth. Just
Yeah.
that's all it is. And like I said, it just realized like, okay, this is the truth of the world, and it just made me realize that I got need to change the way how I move through it. Stop
Mm-hmm.
letting these females get away with murder. Stop letting people in your general in your life get away with murder. Just nah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Everybody.
stop listening to dudes talking about you need to get the poor thing, and they got a baby mama rigging them dry for child support. I'm like, okay,
Hey, you know what I think it the most for too hard? It made me unemotional. Like I stopped emotionally reacting
true.
to shit.
Yeah.
Like I stopped letting shit just get me so. You know what I'm saying? I used to be a blow upper, just blow up, blah, just blow the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Quit the job, walk away, gone, bounce. I don't care about this shit no more. Lead the apartment, lead everybody. Just I'm gone. I had a runner. I turned into a track star.
Yeah, it did that to me too. Especially when I be looking at these chicks online, they be saying that shit. I just look like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me. Next,
Mm-hmm.
No, man, I look at it like now it's just like, man, like it's just from the perspective of everything, man, and everything is evolved into. It's just now we come here, we congregate. It's like we validate it. Like, look, man, this shit validation, man. Like this shit is validation that for years, even just not even back to like just for years. I remember years ago us being on this panel with Art and UAB and just a couple people just like talking about this shit. Like, man, and the way everything that unfolded over the course of years is just like, damn. And the brother's still here just trudging along, like, man, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. This shit just crazy to me, man, looking at it.
Well, like I said, yeah, you always had that deep feeling that something was wrong, but you never could put it on. And then we talk to people, they'd be like,
Put
"Oh,
your
you
finger on it,
crazy."
yeah.
Then you come here and like Boondock says, it's like, "Oh, I'm not crazy. This shit really is happening."
Yeah, that's the other thing that happened. That's the other thing I found out. I found out I wasn't crazy. That I wasn't the only one going through what I was going through.
And then
It's crazy.
what was the craziest part was when we seen Dr. T creep in here. Like Dr. T creeped in. So then Dr. T, then Dr. Ron popped up. Then Gigi.
You
Yeah, we doctors, we orchestrated this whole shit. I'm like, nigga, we geniuses.
That's how that's why this space is so important to have, because of that fact that there's so many men have been told that what they're thinking is wrong.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, no, we are right, because this is the shit that's happening in front of our faces, and like I said, people be lied to you, and they'll lie straight dead in your face and tell you, "Oh, that's not what's going on," but it
But
really is.
and what's really wild is when they realize that you know that they all duplicitous. Like I know all you motherfuckers is in this shit together. Even you, the one that talk about you love me, you in this shit, they in this shit, you in this shit, Jorge. Maylene, you part of this shit too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Boris, nigga, you in this shit too, Boris. What's your name? Farhad, you in this shit too, Farhad. Nigga, all of y'all plotting on me.
Yep.
Gee, the funny thing about that is the PhDs, because I've been familiar with them the past couple years, but they gave me the language to actually be able to, how do I say, like 1984 double speak. I'm able to communicate in that intersectionalist language to tell people that are my opposition that I know what you're saying, but I'm able to phrase it in such a good way that they can't say anything that's a big rebuttal. They just recognize that I'm not someone to be trifled with, because I really do run my life like a business in a sense. Like I'm not really trying to save people. I'm just trying to coexist, and you do right by me, I'm gonna do right by you. I don't care. You're doing your fuckery, like that's fine with me.
Well, most thinkly for brothers like you, Boondocks, it's prepared you for mental warfare.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
now
definitely
you had
these
like
brads, these
yeah,
brads.
beforehand, all our brothers that was like like we were trying to do stuff, it was like we didn't have the language to express. Like if we go to court with a grievance, we didn't have the language that was backed up by an actual real thing that was provable to present in court. It's like when you go to court and shit, I remember just seeing this big farce at court about how this bitch was showing her arm, like he grabbed me and it left a mark. But out of that little grab mark proof situation, she was able to win that situation and extricate something. Now, when a brother go in court with the recording, like, listen, Your Honor, and we got so much evidence now. It's like when a grievance is presented, it's like, okay, we can't just sit in front of these niggas' face no more and act like this shit not happening.
Shit, the greatest example of that is what happened to Jonathan Majors. Shit, his the chick lied on him, and guess what? She's the one that fled the country. This chick lied on him, got him arrested, tarnished his career, and when she had the hint that they might do something to her, she fled. They allowed her to flee.
I'm not gonna lie. This space has given me so much tools to interact with the Beckys of the world, because I realize they're very useful, but at the same time,
They're
You really
dangerous.
can't. You can't fraternize with. I'm not trying to get Emmett Till. I can't really with fraternize with them the way I did in high school. But they are very useful, and it's funny because a good portion of them, especially in the under 35 crowd, they hate Brad. They really hate Brad. Like they hate Brad with a passion. And it's crazy because I've realized I'm able to get allies with them on certain things and they'll help me. And it's funny because it's like white
Oh,
girls.
hold on. What region of the country you from?
I'm in the South right now. I'm in Texas. So it's like I really can't fraternize too
Oh yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's like nah. It's I came from the Midwest and then I went to Texas. It's a little different like that.
Yeah,
The good old boys, the good old boys are really good old boys in Texas.
yeah,
That's
the Midwest is a class game. It's not really overt. Like they very friendly in your face in the
yeah,
Midwest.
yeah.
It
Yes,
become
very
when you
true.
start trying to get some money in the Midwest that you start hitting them
Mm-hmm.
walls. When you get to
Yes.
bidding on them contract as a private contractor with them, then you
Yes,
start
sir.
learning. Like, damn. like these dudes is cousins and uncles and brothers, and
Mm-hmm.
the
Hey,
daddy was at war with this dude, daddy, and like I'm trying to
it's
bid on this
networking.
road. Man, you feel me?
That's really all it is. Networking. That networking can loosen up that red tape real quickly.
That's what's so like in where I'm from, that's what's so hard for brothers to establish themselves. It's not that we can't get the equipment. It's like we got brothers, right? You know, that's talented and we can hustle up the money. Is that once we get the equipment, we have to use the equipment. Like I can't just go spend $1 million on the excavator to help you build. Like it was, I can't go spend that money or get that loan if you won't give me the contract to do the road.
Right.
If you won't give me the contract to level the ground for the new Amazon building, if you only gonna give that to the same motherfuckers you've been giving it to, why would I go get the $1 million loan?
Yeah.
That's what happened. That happened to me on the real situation. Me and another brother, it was like we was bidding on the contract, on the shipping contract. It's like, man, we got 4 trucks. We could do the whole contract in a night with all. We could just load all 4 trucks and do it in one night. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I don't know. The dude they still didn't give us the load. They still gave it to the dude that would take him 3 days to do it because he only got 1 truck. But come to find out, like, yeah, they always give it to him because, he's married to one of the people that works their sister. Like, oh, man. So we could have got the money in one night, but y'all gave him the money over the course of the days. That shit was just crazy, man.
It's good to know people in high places. And that's one of the things that, I would say us as brothers, we need to do better as far as networking with each other. Because we're always out here by ourselves. We need to start. And I did a video on that, but yeah, that's our one of our major downfalls as a community of black men is that we need to start networking with each other.
Well, it was hard. Well, we network with each other, but it's hard for us to do it together because it's not hard for us to network. It's hard for us to convalesce because it's like they're not going. It's not that they're going. We got to just say it for what it is. We gonna have to go to court to get shit. You know what I mean? If we all piece together, like AB a programmer, you a craftsman, I'm a craftsman. This brother, if you piece together a company to do something like we need to build this bridge, we have the resources and the organizational skills to get. We have everything necessary to get this bridge built. We need the same help that you're going to give that other contractor to build that bridge because none of them do it by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's doing shit by themselves but us. It's like I'm cool that you giving everybody else the shit. Don't you think it's time to let us in on the fucking establishment, dog? Like why do we hitting brick walls? It's not that we're not being productive. It's that all of our production has a stopping point. We not allowed to flourish. You know what I'm saying? We allowed to get some money. They let us get enough money to eat, you know what I'm saying, and do some shit like that. But they don't let us get enough money to found an institution.
I mean, shit, you can make an institution right here on YouTube. People give out knowledge. You just gotta know how. People just gotta know what to do with it. Right now, I'm learning animation. I ain't go to school for that. I went to school for 3D animation, but I didn't learn. I didn't go to school for 2D animation. But I got the knowledge, and if people want to learn it, then I'll show it on my channel.
What you gonna be making? Like, what you gonna be designing? When you gonna do like little skits, shows?
I'm gonna do like a series on YouTube.
Like, are you gonna do it with a whole animation thing?
Yeah, I got a free open source program called OpenTunes. I'm learning it right now, so that way I can go ahead and start making an animated show.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
So I mean, I kind of stand the whole wall. I know we kind of get into the weeds of the conversation, but I'm not gonna stand the whole wall of progressing from back in the day. But because of the internet and all these open source programs and stuff, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of brothers out here that the older generations did not even have. Like, so there's a lot of doors that can be open for us. We just got to know how to use it. Like I said, I've had brothers who I went to art school and they're not doing anything, but they don't want to take the time to learn the program. But guess what? I can go across the nation right now or the world, get with some African people, get with some people from South America to make a cartoon show. And I know that can be done because it was done just recently of a 30-minute animated short called Lackadaisy. And there's people all across the world who got together and made a 30-minute animated series all over the world. So we can do this, but we just have to know how to use it and get people that are like-minded. And you can't find people like-minded in your area, but guess what? You can find people like-minded. You can find some people like-minded across the world. Because there's somebody who's willing to learn the things that you know, and there's someone who has the same passion that you have that's actually want to do the same thing that you're doing. You're not out here just doing everything by yourself. You can actually get help across the internet. And there's certain little tricks that you can learn from this person, that person. I learned about finance and all that stuff from the internet. My parents didn't teach me. They only taught what they knew. But I still wanted to learn about finance. I wanted to learn how to budget and all that stuff. And I learned all that stuff through the internet. I learned about the secure credit card before my brother got into a bank and tried to tell me about it. I've been told him I knew it. So
No, most deaf. That's why I say I just think for a lot of people, it's they be like they feel like it's nihilistic or like you said, like it's just doom and gloom. But I just feel like it set me free, man. Like I don't feel like nothing that's going on that's abnormal to history. Like if you look at history, it's always, on the edge. You feel me? Everything is always on the edge. Everything is always the time. The time is always now. So I don't know. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I be hearing brothers like it's why when I hear people talk about the fall of the dollar, and I'm like, man, we're gonna be all right, man. Everybody else made it through everything else. Either we're gonna be alive or we not. But whatever gonna happen, we're gonna adapt to survive.
it's just how many people you want dead to survive.
Shit,
That's the question.
just make sure you gotta have the skills for you not to be one of the dead people. Shit, but you might be. You don't know that.
Yeah. What's up, Jules?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I was watching TLA's thread. It shows going on something else. I was doing dual work after a long day. Um, he's,
Gotcha.
he's doing like a promo for the Black Manager Conclave thing. Um, I'd say the best thing that I figured out was that we always talk about the white supremacists, right? And how there's a conspiracy. Granted, that is true to a degree. It is true, but there's also a conspiracy amongst women facing towards men. And a lot of times you think, I know I'm seeing something that's not adding up to my thoughts, and I know this is not how it's supposed to be, or I know that I'm not being treated right, or I'm being mistreated, and it's not right. And I need to be able to address this. But everyone is telling you, even including some of your closest relatives, that you're just making this, you're just imagining things. And at this point, a space like this actually, it's a group of men who are talking about their experiences. Like it's like they're joining a union of men who are saying, "No, you're being mistreated in this way, and this way, and this way. People are trying to prevent you from becoming your ultimate self in this way, in this way, in this way." And you need to actually look at how these people are treating you, and the ones who don't want to continue or start to treat you correctly in a just way, you need to get rid of them. You need to get them out of your life, or you need to find a solution to get out of this situation and find a way where you will be treated decently. And I think that's what a lot of this space tries to offer.
Well, it needs to anyway. If it's not,
It does. It definitely does. I mean, you think like I mean the Matrix was a good example. You have Morpheus trying to tell everyone, or well, certain people, this is not the reality that it is. This is an artifice, and here's a way out. It's kind of like a what's this, the JFK movie from the 90s, right? When he sits down on the park bench next to Donald Sutherland, who tells him, this is actually what happened on that day. And this is what you've been working up because you saw all these things that were paradoxes, that were contradictions. And this is what actually went down. And here are the things that I know from my position here. But the thing is, you never get it from a woman who's going to tell you this. It's always a man who figured it out, who says, look, I've pieced together 5 or 6 things on this end. Maybe you can piece together another 2 or 3 in your own personal life.
Most definitely, Jules. And it's like, it gave me more of an understanding of our older brothers too, man. 'Cause I was one of them brothers that looked at the older brothers a certain type of way. You know what I mean? But it gave me more of an understanding of the history of what was going on. Because when you're young, you look at things in a certain way. When you're young, everything is about you. And when you start gaining maturity, you start seeing shit. It is what it is. Like it's not about you. It's just life. It's about life. So talking to some of the older brothers, man, it's just like when I come to the space sometimes, some of the brothers remind me of them dudes that you used to see, them old dudes. They used to have a bunch of books and shit walking around all the time. You're like, why this old dude got all these old, it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's like all the older brothers I've seen over the years, it just starts to make more sense. It's like, because at a certain point in this society, as a brother, everything that you do becomes about self development.
Yeah.
It's like you just start developing yourself, like, all right, and then everything turns into self development at that point.
so to
And
keep
that's never ending, right? And it's not like you're gonna, get that certification, get that license in one day, but you just chip away at it day after day after day after day, just little bits.
No, anybody else's Call of Duty update, I'm mad.
oh, I don't know. I ain't played on it today. But as far as like, yeah, I mean, that's when it comes to the red pill in that sense. It's just that you have to realize, okay, maybe I'm a lazy piece of fuck. Man, I need to meditate on that. Why am I lazy? And if that's something that you need to fix, you need to say, okay, am I going to fix this or not? And you have to be accept the consequence, the choice that you make there. You have to be true to yourself. Cause that's the truth that you have to live with. Maybe I am a lazy piece of shit. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not gonna do anything. Well, it is what it is. Not something I want to do, but you know, I'm going to be the best that I could be, regardless of anything else. That's what I always strive for.
And that's what it is. Just make you realize that like shit. That's the only thing you control anyway.
Yeah,
Like everything else gonna be like, we want things to change and we take different interests in different things and you may even have opinions on different things. All of us do. We all opinionated. But if you get in a group of red pill brothers, it's not gonna like it just don't tend to. It's just like man, everybody's saying what it is. It's just not a lot of beating around the bush or pushing shit off, and you able to get the core of shit real quick. You're able to get to the root of the problem real quick. So,
yeah.
mm,
All the one thing I had, like I said, I don't. You cannot use your feelings talking. You have to be logical about this shit. And everybody who says they're logical is probably not being illogical. That's one thing I learned. It's like, oh, I am being logical. No, you're being emotional right now. You can hear it in your voice. You can hear it in your temperament.
The best thing about this space when it comes to self development is the people that I've reached out to and how they have, with no holds bars, deconstructed all the stuff I've said about my goals and really have got me to a different mindset on how I can chip away at all of my goals and continue to progress. But I think the funny thing of getting to like, I guess, Black Pill, but not, you know, Owlman, but more so a Batman aspect on it is that I am challenging myself to have new goals because I get kind of bored. Because I'm at the point that I've changed my life multiple times and I never thought I was going to get to this point, and now I'm just really challenging myself to just do it. And I think the one thing that makes me feel like I'm isolated is that no one my age, probably like the closest person to me age wise that kind of understands where I'm at is like 47 or something. And it's an uncle that's in my family that, divorced, got a kid, but, all this stuff is, he's doing good for himself, even though, made some mistakes. And he's like, yeah, just keep going. Like, you're doing fine. And I'm realizing the position I'm in. And it's like, well, I've gotten past all of the bullshit, and now I'm kind of just, I don't want to say I'm coasting, but I could coast, but it's like, no, I don't want to. Like, I have to continue to progress and be better because I think once you have been able to get yourself out of that negative environment, because I've moved quite a few times in the past 5 years and moved out of the environments that had the people that were inhibiting me. And since I have isolated myself, I don't want to say isolate myself, but got into a new environment where there's a lot of people that are not like me, but there's a lot of people that do what I do. I realize that, having people that look like me, that's a plus, but it's not a given and it's not a necessity because I'd rather be around the people that are trying to get to where I'm going than people that look like me because honestly, the level of threatening people around me feel sometimes when I'm around, I'm just like, well, I'd rather not go around you because I'm just being me. I'm not even putting it in your face. I'm not doing anything. I'm just being me. So I'm like, you really are messed up. So I don't know. I've lost interest in rekindling relationships and doing stuff with past friends because like you're just not thinking the same way as me and you're an alien. But I don't know. I got my mom and dad to support whatever I'm doing. And honestly, that's all I really need because I've just had honestly, I care more about my pops. And he told me, he's like, son, I can't really tell you anything. I don't you've taken everything I've told you and you've taken it to the nth degree. I can't even really advise you anything. You're good. And once he told me that, it's crazy talking to your dad as a peer. But that happened a year ago. And ever since then, I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. It is what it is. I have to really make my own path. And I've just kind of just sat in that. And I don't know. It's this whole forum is kind of just,
Well,
I don't know.
that's
Yeah.
where you need your mentors to come into place because once your dad, because I'm pretty sure your dad is proud of you. So, but if you want to continue to grow, you have to find people who are, I will say, don't want to say better, but who think on a higher plane than you. So that way you can feed off them and help them grow you. You always got to find someone who's higher than you so that's willing to come down to teach you so that way you can be up there with them. Because you never want to be the smartest guy in the room. You want to be the guy that's willing to learn and find someone who's willing to teach.
I think art the where I'm at is I have really good technical mentors, but when it comes to the social aspect and when it comes to like maneuvering, like I said, I'm in Texas and I'm in the area that's where a lot of well-to-do black people, but I'm not trying to fit in, but I'm trying to be able to maneuver and do something. Like I'm not really trying to save the community, but I'm trying to at least do something that is giving back to people that look like me. But I've realized that I am just so upfront and unfiltered that I've literally like for instance, I've tried to reach out to, you know, the engineering things and I've been to meetings and stuff like that. And people have told me like, Ryan, you're just cut raw. Like we can't even really do much stuff with you because like you just do not hold anything back. And I'm just like, because you don't understand what's happening. So I would say I have a lot of technical mentors, but when it comes to like relationships and stuff like that, I know how to maneuver. And it's fucked up to say, like right now in my life, mentor wise, the people that are the Asians, those are the people that have really been taking me to the next level when it comes to going to different social circles and going to all these banquets and doing all this stuff and being with people that are actually movers and shakers. And it's weird because it's like, damn, nobody. Like I'm seeing one or two people that look like me, and they're like straight coons. Like that's the hardest part. Like not being a coon and trying to maneuver, because I've realized there really is going to be a ceiling if you don't want to compromise.
Man,
But
listen,
I
Boondocks.
yeah
Hey, man, Boondocks, man. That shit's so crazy because it's gonna be everywhere.
Yep.
It's gonna be everywhere. When I first transitioned into being like, because first I was just a truck driver. Then I went back to school. Then I transitioned into being a heavy equipment operator, so I could drive the crane, the boot. I could do all the machinery. I didn't have to go to school for it, but now I'm currently trying to become the actual diesel mechanic. So like it's just a whole process. But like I had took this job, man. It was in South Dakota, right? When I'm telling you, man, you just be out there and it's like, man, I'm in South Dakota. What the fuck? But the job paid $33 an hour. It's like you gonna be here. The job paid $33 an hour. I'm only gonna be here for 42 days. It was like a contract job. You be there for 42 days. You operate up there for their harvest, for what they're harvesting in the field. You operate the combines, and it's just like the brothers that I met. It was just like I was looking at them, and it was like they know that I know what they own, and it's awkward as fuck, bro. Like you see them, they come out, they dressed exactly like the people. You know what I'm saying? They might have the buckle on and the boots, and this dude had the tobacco in his mouth. I looked at this brother like, You know what I'm saying? It's like you know that y'all foreign to each other at that point. You feel me?
Right.
At that point, you know, we foreign. You might as well be from two different countries because I know you fully assimilated into this society in South Dakota. I've even heard brothers letting dudes miscall their names. Are you ashamed to tell this nigga your name, bro? Like, you know, I have a unique, you know, nigga name. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like that. But I've seen dudes like Namer got a unique name. I've seen niggas not tell them, like, let them mispronounce their names, and it's just like, bro, tell that dude your name. Man, he doesn't understand. He do understand. He understand. This motherfucker got a college degree. He can say your name, bro.
Yeah. Or sometimes the people mispronounce it on purpose just to be funny. I've seen that happen too.
The weird part about what you
For me,
said, G,
it's
is
not
like,
that they do it. It's that the brother looks like he let him do it. He like giggles with him, like, bro, they making fun of you, just giggling with him.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
up?
that's on the brother. That's on him.
so it's crazy you said that, G, because I'm at the point, and I might need some, I don't know, I might need some guidance or some perspective on this, but the white boys aren't my problem. It's other brothers. Like, so I'll describe my situation. I'm on good terms with most of the white boys that I work with directly, and I go to the happy hours, I get invited to the golf stuff, and they talk transparent about what they do, all the things. Actually, it's funny because you brought up homegirl that was all divester, such and such, and I watched that stream, and I was at a happy hour, and I talked to some of the white boys. Brand, I picked some of the white boys' brains. It's like, hey, you ever abused a sister? Like, you ever? And like they up front was like, well, such and such. Like, you want me to tell you for real? You're not gonna be mad? No, tell me. And like, so they're transparent about their shit, but the brothers are looking at me like, how are you cool with the white boys, but you're not cooning? I'm like, well, I understand enough. I know how to assimilate enough to translate and be cool with them. But at
See,
the same time, I'm an individual. But I have a white name. I'm from the Midwest. I'm used to being around these people. I do dress more proper, but there's a charisma to me that is like, I'm an educated brother, but I'm not gonna be, Mother May I. I can't. It won't happen. It just won't happen. So I guess that's kind of, it's a weird. I'm in a weird spot because, you know, I guess the best way to say it is the white boys expect me to manage the other brothers because they're cool with me, and they treat the other brothers, and I've seen this in person.
So
Yeah, they treat the other
so
brothers different than they treat me, but I don't feel like I'm the magic Negro
so
because I know they're
basically
still, yeah.
What's
basically
up, category one?
they basically using you as a shield. Then
Facts.
that's basically
And
what
some
it is.
can, some definitely can.
Now the
I mean,
question is, are they paying you for it?
I'm paying you well.
Yeah, because if they paying you
Oh,
for it, then that might not be a bad thing.
oh shit, Edward Anderson, man, this is crazy. You like a celebrity. Your shit is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a youngin, and I've been listening to your ass for like 5 years. That's crazy. But yeah, I get paid pretty well. I get paid very well. Like, I'm getting groomed, quote unquote, to be a project manager with the engineering firm I'm at. So like, I am getting paid well, but like, how do I say it? I do just enough to be a team player because, to be honest, I don't really care about the whole white boy politics. I don't want to be included. I just want to be compensated. So I do just enough to get by, but like, I'm not trying to be Mr. Overseer with some of the other brothers. But the white boys definitely are more candid around me than some of the other brothers. But I think
Can I
that's
give you
just
a
because
tip?
the appearance. No, well, it's fucked up to say. It's like, white boys tell me certain things that has elevated my career throughout going to firms and stuff, and it's worked. And I
I get you.
appreciate
Can
the
I
game.
give you a tip though? Can I give you a tip?
You there?
Oh yes, I'm muted because I wanted to listen.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Drew.
Follow whatever the policies are in place. Use that as your way to go forward. Meaning, if they're looking for a way to fire someone, you can give that person, you can give that brother a warning. Hey, this is what the problem is, and this is the policy. It is written down here. You need to respect this because it is written down here, and this is how the organization works. If there's someone who, you respect, he's had a bad couple weeks, some bad shit has happened in his personal life, you need to give him a heads up. Hey, they might target you because your work is slacked off. This is the policy they might use. You can use these things in different ways, right? One to justify and one to help people. Because you can put your reputation on the line for certain things, but you only get so many cards to pull out to do that. Usually it's one or two. But normally you want to give people a warning of like, this is how the organization works. And unless you are the person who owns that organization, you don't have the power to really change that. Unless, something crazy happens. But you have tools in the tool bank. You just have to know when to use them and how to use them. I'm sure you know that, but I'm just trying to say like that's a good mechanism, not to get it personal.
No, some people need to be told. It's kind of like that promotion guilt. And you may not have it, but it's in the back of your mind. It's not that you really have it, but you think about, damn, is it something about me that these white motherfuckers like? And it's something I don't see in myself that makes me this or that. Don't think about that. You in whatever position you got, most likely you earned it. Think of it this way. Think of it as you just spook this stat by the door. And pro-black people they never have an issue to say about the spook that sat by the door, because you can serve as kind of like what Jules said, as a liaison, like not giving them heads up as far as this is how this works, this is what it is. And that's really all they can expect for you. They can't expect you to pull out magic tricks to save their job if they own some fuck shit. So you also need to make it very clear that I'm not about the fuck shit, or you ain't got to communicate that, but show that. But let it be known, if it's gonna be you or me, it ain't never gonna be me. Yep. That's how I used to tell people in a situation like that. I'm like, so you need to look at help me help you. Now, if you doing stupid shit, like you want to fail drug tests, nigga, I've taken piss tests for people. So I can be, even though I don't do drugs myself at all. So I get it. But my thing is,
you got to clear.
Don't let them try to take advantage of that or make you feel like you ain't down because you ain't doing something that's on some fuck shit. They know what the policies is, just like you, and that just be transparent. As long as you doing that, that's up to them if they want to keep that job. So yeah, don't feel bad about you getting promoted. Think of it as a spook that sat by the door. You helping them out by them feeling comfortable talking to you. You can actually give them game that they otherwise might not get, like what Jules said, and that's a value. Just because you are the one that's in that situation, it's just like when you're called to be that, you didn't choose that, but it is what it is. That's if you want to kind of look at this from a position of, I'm not doing this to anybody else. I didn't get it graded at the expense of other brothers. This is an asset to them. Now they got to choose to deal with that the right way, because you got jealous niggas, just like how you got bitch ass white boys that they like to play that corporate shit because they don't like the fire. They don't like to be seen as that, because a lot of times in their mind it'd be some bullshit anyway. And they know that's why they get guilty like that, because there'll be something that they may give somebody else a pass, but you just kind of look past that and just look at it from a perspective, kind of like what Joel said, that you can give them insight they otherwise might not have got. And if you weren't there, the next person might have been a white person and they'd be just blind. So,
yep, that's exactly what I said at the beginning. You can't, if you're in a certain position, you just can't be dealing with that fuck shit.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Carve out a good space for yourself, though.
I mean,
and don't fuck bitches at the job. You don't hear nothing else, because as soon as it's time to fire them, they will use that against you. And you being black, white boys don't even got that kind of defense. They may have it with black women, but you ain't got that kind of defense.
That's why
And
that Ime
what you
Udoka thing became a big thing. It was a
very
warning shot to most brothers, like, do not fuck on the job.
Yep.
I can't do that.
It wasn't, what was that ABC chick with the morning show?
TJ
The black
Holmes
dude.
and Amy Robot.
Yep.
And they were both technically single, and it still fucked up their whole careers.
Yep. Well,
I
they
don't
were
follow.
both getting.
Y'all elaborate.
You said what?
Jules, please elaborate. I'm asking Jules to please elaborate that last name. Amy, what's her face? Because I ain't never
Oh,
heard
this
this. I've never heard this.
Good Morning America is a show on the ABC. It's one of
Yeah,
the big
I
three
know that.
networks,
Okay.
and one of the co-hosts
Okay.
was a black guy, and his co-host was a
White
white
girl.
woman, and they were both like married but getting divorced, and they were having an affair, and it collapsed the show because it came out from one of the interns. Yeah, yeah. And then it came out that all of a sudden he had a bunch of affairs with like other interns and stuff like that. Probably I think 2. They never
Yeah.
talked about whether or not she had any affairs with any interns. Or any
Of course
production
not.
assistants.
Nigga always gonna go after the man because that's the men are no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is these. I don't mean to take it off the topic, but the problem in those situations is, and I hate to say it this way, but it just needs to. These bitches be on these dudes. Like, it's always, you can tell the dudes that are using their power, like, you know, that's what they're leaning on, and then the dudes that these bitches are on the dude's dick.
Yeah.
Ime Udoka
TJ Holmes
is their own, yeah, and a lot
versus
of
Harvey
times,
Weinstein.
yeah, and a lot of times these chicks be on. Those are the in corporate America, and I've been this kind of sort of, but not really, because I learned real quick before Me Too and all that. That's not the thing to do, because they will get you in the end. But I'm not gonna act like I'm always this dude. But the dudes that are all that you could see them and like, yeah, that's gonna be the pass around nigga. That's the dude, the select dude that all these chicks just go stupid, and they just, they'll just give them a wide open lane. And that's fine. I'm not hating on it, but the thing you gotta recognize as a black dude is when you're, especially if you're making a lot of money, but even if you're not, when you're in that situation, they're always gonna blame you. Even though all them other chicks are whores, they're always gonna blame you. Always. Because the way, even though if you say no, you could get you could get fired for that too. But that's harder to do. But so in those famous situations, you can tell, you know what it is. And then but it still does create a bad corporate working environment, and you got to have a discipline. But they don't really give men ways to combat that though. They're like, what was Ime Udoka, like, my thing that I would ask, cool, what was Ime Udoka supposed to do? Oh, well, you could come to me and say what? Hey, I gotta tell you, what you call it, Bob's, you mean executive vice? Yeah, his wife said she wants to suck my dick. And so now, as a white dude, you feel some type of way because either I'm lying, because you ask her, she gonna say you lying, and you gonna want to believe her.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do with that shit? Anyway,
not be in close surroundings. That's really the best way you can do it.
Then, you're not a team player. You don't come to the meetings and shit.
Hey, you just tell them no and then run.
I mean, like I've been at office parties where there's a certain type of woman who's about 44 to about 60 who's still got a little something, and they want to give me drink tickets because they want to get me liquored up and they want to party.
Especially ones that used to have it, that you could tell used to have it. Like, they used to have it, but the wall has clearly got them. But you could tell, oh yeah, when you was like 35, even white. The problem is, Jamie, you're 50. And those be those go get it white women too. The white women that got the kind of that black girl energy when it comes to corporate. They got that black girl engine when it comes to corporate America. That, like, BTS called them 92s. That career is all Hillary bitches.
No, Hillary's a high 92. I mean, technically she's
the go getter.
I know what you mean.
Talking about the go getters.
I don't want to make everything about Keisha. It's not always Keisha's fault. Not always.
Hey, what's up, Edward? How you feeling, bro?
That's why I personally, I say, in my work life, I don't drink. Like, I'm not a big drinker, but when it comes to like professional events, I don't. Club soda, please.
You never get drunk at company parties. You're gonna drink
Yeah,
at a bar with your friends, and it's away from the job. I do not put. I do nah. Don't do it.
Man, hey,
I'm
what's
glad I
up, Evan?
learned
How
a
you
long
doing,
time
man?
ago that
Oh,
And as far as
like I
and
said,
as far as that other, oh, go ahead, go
like I
ahead.
said, I'm just glad that when I was in like the work and office environments, I learned to keep my personal life separate from my work life. That's why most of the people that I ever interacted with at work, it was at work. If I saw them out and about, I just said hello, just kept on pushing. Even if they saw me with other people, then they said no, leave him alone. That's his group. That's who he interacts with. Because and thankful for me, most of the guys I was dealing with were like older men who had families and such, so there was not much to deal with in my situation. Then again, I was in another country. It was a different situation at the time. So but it is what it is, you know. You don't want to have no office romance, none of that. You know, you don't want to go back like to 1991 when Rod Farmer had that song, Love Incorporated. It's not like that. I know friends who talked about like people who sacrifice their jobs just to be with a coworker, and even had to change jobs as a result.
Well,
But it is what it is. That was the
um,
choice they made, and I was like, hey, you gotta live by it.
okay. Back to the. 'Cause I know we got kind of off in the weeds a little bit with the topic of the show.
Well, what is the topic of the
Next
show?
week we got a weed whacker.
Um, what has red? How has red pill or the black pill changed you?
I gotta be honest with myself.
Y'all go first.
I mean, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I said that out loud. No, I mean, realistically, I have to be honest with myself because a lot of people are going to lie or tell half truths, and a lot of people are not willing to accept that, and it's going to come from everyone, like your parents, siblings. They're going to tell you a bunch of bullshit, and a lot of times you're only going to get it from women, like the honest truth, if they really have no interest in you or getting something from you, or if they really care for you, and so hopefully that's your parent. And a lot of times you have that, like your mother is not going to tell you the full truth, and you have to understand that to a certain degree she's loyal to you because you're from her, but she's also loyal to the women because she's amongst them. And so there's a weird dynamic that goes on there. But I've had my mother tell me certain truths, and I've had my grandmother definitely tell me a lot of truths. And then I've had a handful of friends who tell me the truth, and those are the women that I can keep around because they will tell me certain truths at certain times because they know that they conspire amongst each other in a way that they know that they can get the most from men because they're not willing to do the things that men can do.
Anybody else? Hello.
I mean, I was red pill before. I was red. I didn't. I really didn't need to be red pill. Like real talk. But you go through events in your life, whether it's you having a kid, whether it's somebody passing, whether it's that you care, you go through different events, getting married, whatever, divorce. Some brothers came in here married, and they were on their way out. This situation was on their way out. Anyway, and it's one thing to talk about it in theory. It's another thing to see certain things right up front.
Uh-huh.
And so that gives you a different perspective on stuff. And so, yeah. But a lot of this stuff, as far as us coming to YouTube, a lot of this stuff I saw. I was always kind of, it is what it is. And that's not because I'm smarter than anybody else. Some of it is me being short when it comes to female nature. You see shit up front and it's some that part ain't sugar coated. They like you, they do, they don't. It's or other stuff. It's just a matter of accepting what it is. And I didn't need what's called a red pill wake up call that some brothers need. Um, yeah. So, but at the same time, with that being said, you go through certain events that it will change your perspective no matter what. Not change your perspective, but it enhances your perspective because now it's not just the theory part of it. So, That's what
Right.
I'll say.
For me, I was already kind of red pilled and black pilled, come from where I come from. And just like Charles, wars will change you. In my case, I just became very disillusioned with a lot of things. That's when I had to face the cold, hard realities. But then again, I already knew subconsciously about certain things. It just I couldn't articulate it because I was too young and didn't have the vocabulary. And for me, it was just like, just understanding, yes, this is what it is. This is what it is. And for me, my introduction, as an adult to Red Pill was through Patrice O'Neill. So listening to Black Phillip and then just realizing this, that, and the third. Then I came into MGTOW, and that's eventually I come into BTS and all this. And it was just, for the most part, it taught me a lot, but at the same time, it confirmed things I already realized. Especially if you're, like a fucked up empath like myself. You're empathetic, but you're just scarred. You're so scarred up. Especially if you get plagued with mental health issues. You see things in a way that people cannot comprehend. And then later, those same people who like kind of doubted you, they look at you and say, how the fuck do you understand it? I just came second to nature to me.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, Damon. Sorry, Damon. Go ahead. I was making sure you guys can hear me.
No, it's cool. It's cool. So, like I said, it's like it changed me and helped me realize certain things. But like BGS, but then again, like BGS has had to explain to me, I've got to get to be well acquainted with the darker side of my nature because that side is just really, really wants to embrace the what's it called? Not the utilitarian, but the opposite side. No, the nihilistic side of the black pill. And I'm just trying as far as I can not to. But there's a part of me in there that just says, you know what? Fuck it. But it's a struggle every day.
Yeah, I was going back on saying like a little bit with it. I'm sorry, I was a little bit behind you guys as far as like the social environments at work. I'll be honest, like I don't really. I hear what Boondocks is saying, and I know Ed were able to coordinate. He's from North Carolina, so it's a real diverse population in North Carolina. So I'm pretty sure Ed were used to dealing with a lot of different people. You know what I mean? But I don't really interact. I kind of just go to work, do the work, and then that's it. Like I don't go to the parties after work. I don't. When they invite me to stuff, I don't even respond. I'm just like, nah, it's all right. I just kind of stay aloof. You know what I mean? But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know because I
No,
actually
I know
have
what you're talking
partaken.
about.
Yeah, because I have partaken in the real conversations, like Boondock is saying, the real talks, letting them be honest. And I found out a lot of those dudes like those talks because they get to say they true assholeness. And it just exposed me to like, okay, this fake liberalism is another way for them just to be snarky or racist or any other way they want to be. And in my mind, it exposed that like we can't never really be friends. I could be cool with you though. We could not be enemies. Like we could, everything. I don't got no issue with you. I'm not one of them dudes like, oh yeah, this white dude's horrible. None of that shit. But I understand your worldview and my reality that me and you would never be able to see the world the same way. Like, and the way you look at the world kind of stops us from being close friends because the things that's going to hinder me in the world are going to help you. You know what I mean? Like every obstacle that I'm meeting, you're going to be able to walk through that obstacle. And one day you're going to look to your right or your left, and I'm not going to be there with you. You know what I mean? It's not going to be nobody that look like me there with you. You know what I mean? That's the reality for us. But it's
You know
not a
what?
really reality for them.
You
That's
know,
all.
it is for more. It is for more than you think. I think so. It's
No,
funny, but it's
no, I'm not
funny. But
saying. Hold on, Edward. Let me finish real quick. I'm not saying that it's not for all of them. I'm saying, but at least their trajectory into that world and my trajectory into that world is way more likely, even if I didn't already have a checkered past. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird for me because on the one hand, this is where being short, you know, doesn't hurt you because they're not gonna come at me the same way they would come at you or DC. They
Yeah.
typically don't because they don't get as automatically intimidated. So there's certain things that I know I can probably, if I say it and I don't get fired, that's a lot of times why. Because it doesn't trigger them in the same, like, okay, I gotta get this motherfucker back. It can't stand. But most of the time when I've had issues with people at the job, it is white dudes. It's literally white dudes that think I'm gonna be that nigga they fired because and then I happen to know the policy. Jules was right about that policy. If you start talking like that policy like a language, or they start to figure out that you Charleston, look, I'm Charles. I'm not Charles. Charleston White's not my favorite dude. But when he talks about like knowing the labor stuff and having a labor lawyer and having that stuff kind of on deck, that is some good advice because they'll know not to mess with you. It ain't worth it because then now that shrapnel can blow back on their job and maybe even their boss's job because you can cost them money if they even get a hint that you're paying attention to everything. And sometimes it'd always be that new white dude that'll come in and think I'm the dude that he gonna make an example of. And a lot of times those dudes end up being really, really cool with me because they'll be on that white, you stood up to me, but not stood up to them in front of other people. Because I knew not that's that 48 laws of power. I'm not mute around other people, but I know when I want to say what I want to say, it's gonna be with just me and him, so he can act like it never happened. Because you can't take that back if you do that in front of people. But
that's like shaming them in front of a group.
Yeah, especially with other white people. But if you say, look, I didn't talk to you, and it'd be like, and I've told people, I said, yeah, you think you about to fire me, and talk about like I got one more time about something. Even they try to get you like in front of people if they're your boss, and it'd be like a direct person. And so that's the one thing. The other thing is, ironically, people this goes to kind of what you were saying, but not really. People that's always helped me out has been other black men. Like that kind of take me aside thing. That's actually been other black men have done that. And I'm not talking about like necessarily square ass black men either. Like black men to deal with black women, it can get them under control, at least for a time. They were married. So it's been, and then you got a lot of Indians out here. Then you got Hispanics where they want to be white, but they know they ain't. So it's funny. Like North Carolina, you're right. North Carolina is really diverse, but I've dealt with all black folks too, and that's a different type of thing too.
Yeah.
Because
but this how it is on my end, and like Omaha really diverse too. We have a large population of Africans, right? So this is what tends to happen, right? At the jobs. At first, when I get to the good ones, like right now, I'm at a really good corporation.
Nigga,
right?
that sounds like a spin-off show. Omaha. Niggas in Omaha.
No, real life. It's like you get to the job. I don't have issues at a job until they realize I can.
Most people think that's a state.
Yeah.
It sounds like a state.
What?
And you'd be surprised how many black folks you got in Omaha, even in Lincoln.
Yeah. So
hey,
but what happens at the jobs is, look, man, this is what happens. They don't start having an issue with you until they realize you could do the same shit they could do. Like once they learn you have all the same skills, like, oh yeah, man, and then like, yeah, I can do that. That shit's no problem. You know what I'm saying? And then you can start doing this shit, and it's like, okay, now all of a sudden, y'all not cool no more. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden.
Wait a minute, what type of Africans you talking about, G?
I grew up around a lot of Somali and Sudanese.
Somali, yeah, that's up my alley.
Yep, Somali, Sudanese, specifically, and and like, I grew up Islamic, so you know how that goes. So
I'm gonna tell you some funny shit, G. Some funny shit. It's funny to African Americans, but it ain't funny to Africans. Yo, when these motherfuckers be having, usually they can keep this under control, but when they be having these little tribal feuds that come up, you know how black men and black women will have some of their subtle shit that other people might not, like white people might not be able to pick up on.
Yeah.
But it's like, so, you know, if you know, and it could be if it's an older black chick or black dude, and then, you know, they're having that subtle bullshit where it could be on some nice nasty shit, but it's in corporate speak, or two black women that don't get along, and maybe they both cool with you as a black dude, so you know, they got to work with each other, so they try to work through you to do it. When you see Africans have they tribal feuds,
Yeah.
and it boils up to like, wait, when you
Oh, you
can notice,
talking?
it's
Yeah.
not, it ain't
You,
corporate bad, but it's like when you can notice it, and you be like, yo, what the fuck? Why you got an issue with him? And they don't want to tell you that's what it is, but that's really what it is. So when you ask them, they really ain't got no real answer. I've had to deal with that a couple of times, and he's like, well, you don't understand. I said, I understand. Now I don't care, but I understand. That motherfucker did not like. You don't know what they did. I'm like, look, man, I'm working with white people, so look, I'll say whatever you about to tell me probably is more recent. I'll give you that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
can
big one in
like
my
give
area.
other
Look, Ed,
examples
the
over
big one in
here.
my
Where I'm at.
area.
One,
Hold on, the big one in my area
I'm
is the
sorry, go ahead.
Somali and the Somali and the Ethiopians be beefing.
Oh, that I can explain easily. You know, I'm caught up in the mix in a sense because you know I'm Eritrean and everything. I mean, Somalis, you know, they know we cousins to Ethiopians, but they cool with us because you know we got our issues with them. But the thing is like the roots of it goes back to like some 500 years. That's when the first real war went through thing. But you know, everybody got their issues. There's also disputed territories and everything. But then again, you look at Somalis, they fight amongst themselves because they're first and foremost loyal to their clan, then the nation. Hell, if you look at the history of Somalia, there was never one united Somalia. It was always two kingdoms, one in the north, one in the south. If you look at the shape of the country on a map, you realize it comes no surprise you can't administer that country under one government. Look at how long and elongated the shit is. And with Ethiopians, it's mostly like, you know, it's like a ethnic, religious kind of thing. You know what
I
I'm
can
saying?
give
Well,
you
it's funny in our area though, Naima, because you know the first generation they still like,
Uh-huh.
you know, they still got the customs, but the kids grew up with us. You know what I mean? So they like
That's
us.
cool.
You know what I mean? But the you know they parents and stuff, they
Mm-hmm.
still speak their tribal languages. Some of them still speak Arabia. You know what I mean, and all
Arabic.
that. Yeah, yeah, they still speak Arabic because you know I'm talking about everybody is like Arab, Sudanese, Somali, and Ethiopian. Some of the Ethiopians is Christians, but not all of them. You know what I mean? So
I bet most of them are Orthodox Christians.
yeah, yeah. Some of them is
Yep,
like
yeah,
it's
Of
like
course, you know, I'm Orthodox Christian myself, so I would know. That's right up my fucking alley.
yeah, but you know mainly what I
But
really grew up with was Sudanese people though. Like I was around them tough. Like
can you
I
get more
ate like
specific, fam? We're talking like
Nuer,
Northern Sudanese fats or South Sudan?
South Sudanese, Nuer, Maliki, and Dinka. Yeah, that them
Dinka, yeah,
tribes.
okay, all right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're mostly Christian and animist, but there's a minority like
Yeah.
Muslim among
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I
please
grew
say
up with
niggas don't know geography.
yeah.
Nah. Edward, there's a reason I asked this question because certain details are important to this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm
Because
talking
I've
to
got
G.
things.
I'm proud of G. That's why I was,
Because you know, you know, I've met, you know, because you know, G don't know. G, my thing is like, you know, I was born outside, but I came home at 12, so I grew up half my life back home. So I grew up on the outside and on the inside to understand the mentalities and shit. And understand like, you know, the two different perspectives. And there's a bunch of us like of my ilk who would like that. You know, second generation was born outside, but our families had to come home after independence. But we all eventually left out because you know we got tired of the bullshit. But like I said, Sydney's cats, you know, you can understand who got who, what not. It's all trouble, and it's funny, you know, because you don't know the shit. But then again, it's not just black folks, Africans who do this shit. I mean, you got Europeans who have that similar attitude to one another, but they're more subtle about it. I mean, take the folks in former Yugoslavia.
I
They don't all
mean,
like each other.
well, that's what kind of helped me in the red pill too, because I wasn't all the way like Edward. This is really what had me open. Like one of my red pill thoughts. I knew that we wasn't the same as Africans because I grew up with Africans, and they always would tell me like, "Y'all niggas not African." You feel me? Like they'd tell me off the rip, like, "Y'all niggas is not Africans, man. Y'all niggas is Americans."
The Nigerian. Oh, you can go.
No, I was gonna say because I got to open in the morning, so I can't stay on super late. But Charles is still going strong. It looks like. So I post his link in the chat. Any last words before I head on out?
No, peace to the brothers, man.
All right. So if you guys want to check out
by the way,
Charles on Charles's live, I post the link in the chat.
All right,
Finally
yeah,
true.
I might. I need to talk to
Just let
AB.
y'all know.
I might run the Coliseum this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. If AB can't do it, I might third one up.
Yeah, because I gotta work this Saturday too. So
Right.
I just ask him.
I just want to say, Art, thanks for having me up, but just remember, none of y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit, and God bless y'all for it.
I've been knew that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that beta, because that beta this weekend too. So I'm definitely gonna be sacrificing for you motherfuckers if I that MK1 beta.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
Cause I already got to do something. I'm working Friday, so it's like if I do that,
You pre-ordered already?
Yeah.
You already know
I
Edward.
found out Shao Kahn was gonna be in there.
Yeah, you already know Edward's in there.
I'm just saving up for later. I'm just gonna wait till there's the price comes down, like you're on a holiday sale or something like that. But hey, do what you gotta do. One.
All right, later, guys.
Thanks
See
for having me
you
out, man.
next time I get on. All right, thanks.